Yesterday, the Braves signed Reynaldo Lopez to a 3-year, $30 million deal. It also has a club option for the fourth year with a $4 million buyout. We like the signing. Think it's going to really bolster the bullpen. The bullpen now on paper looks absolutely elite, and we talked about it yesterday. But something we didn't talk about because it kind of got released after we got done recording is that there's a consideration about stretching him out and seeing how he does in spring training as a starter. Now, Lopez was a starter with the White Sox. He kind of struggled in that role, but I know you saw something Reddit. I don't have the thing on Reddit pulled up, but just some things about this. One, the White Sox aren't nearly as good at developing pitching as the Braves. So there's a little more confidence that the Braves could help him develop and lengthen out his starts and be more effective. Also, his stuff is a lot better than it was when he was a starter. Now, his fastball is over 3 miles per hour fastball. Some might say, oh, well, it's because he's only pitching one inning. And yes, that definitely has a little bit of an effect. But even, last year, his fastball was 97. This past year, it was up to 98.2. Back when he was a starter, it was 94, 95. So if he's throwing 97, 98 on the mound for 5+ innings, obviously that's going to be a lot more effective than 94, 95. There is something. Listen, I think it's more of just the Braves keeping all their options open. They've seen how injuries have affected this club. They don't really know what they're going to get out of A.J. Smith-Shawver and Herschel Waldrop just yet. They don't really know what they're going to get out of Bryce Elder. And if someone goes down, maybe he can step up. But I do think at the end of the day, he's definitely going to be more of a reliever, especially if the Braves go out and sign someone. Now, if the Braves don't go out and sign someone, they may need Reynaldo Lopez to be a starter. But if they do go out and get the Sonny Gray or a Yamamoto like we've talked about, or trade for someone, then there's a lot less need for a starter. And I think they'll just kind of do a revolving door of A.J. Smith-Shawver, Bryce Elder, and whoever else. But I like the idea of keeping the options open, and there's no doubt, undoubtedly, some untapped upside with Lopez as a starter. Because if the guy can throw 98 for 5 or 6 innings, he's going to probably have a little bit of success, especially if he can harness in some of his secondary offerings, and the Braves can help him in those areas.
Yeah, so you mentioned the Reddit post that we were talking about. This comes from the Braves Reddit. Stick with me. There's going to be a lot of stats, and I'll skip over some of the ones that aren't as important. Basically, this guy said, who is a White Sox fan and wanted the White Sox to sign Reynaldo Lopez to a higher contract than the Braves did? He's up in arms because he's like, well, the Braves did it again. They got a guy that's, really, really good, who's going to be even better for them than he was my team for a lesser price than I was willing to pay. So basically, he says the biggest thing that happened in Ronaldo's career is that he got LASIK. Since LASIK, 3.02 ERA over 131 innings pitched with a 1.12 whip, 10K per 9 to a 3.1 walks per 9, only 9 home runs allowed. He's thrown 180 innings twice in a season, so the pass workload is there. This kid thinks that he could get stretched out to 100, maybe 105 innings in 2024. And here are some more stats for you. He's pitched in 24 games since 2022 where he completed more than an inning in a third. He only allowed an earned run in 3 of those 24 games. In multi-inning appearances since 2022, that's 24 games, 34 innings pitched, 19 hits, 7 walks, 44 strikeouts, 1 home run. That's a 1.59 ERA. Listen, this guy's not going to pitch 180 innings like Charlie Morton, but he's going to give the Braves some length. I think that they were right to, potentially stretch him out into a starter. All things considered, this is just going to be a very, very versatile piece in October for Brian Snitker. Let's say one of the starters gets beat up and Lopez can go and give the Braves some length. Or, we need a bullpen game and Lopez can give him some length at the start of the game. There's just so many different ways Brian Snitker can use him if he's able to go these multiple innings. And I think, the Braves would be fools not to at least try it. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work out and they got another high-end reliever at the back of their bullpen. That's the worst case scenario.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think my whole thing with it is like, I don't want this guy to be a glorified long reliever. I do think there's some value in October if you have a guy that go multiple innings. And if you're going to try to pitch him multiple innings in the regular season and stuff like that, that intrigues me. Like, if he's going in the 6th and 7th or the 7th and 8th in big time, high leverage innings during the regular season, and that's how they're going to use him in the postseason, then so be it. But they definitely need, and they will do this, but there needs to be an established consistency because there's no reason to pay a guy $30 million to be a hybrid starter reliever that pitches an occasional bullpen game, and then is used in long relief. That's way too much money. Like, the guy needs to be used in big situations. So as long as he's used in big situations, I don't care how it's used. I'll be interested to see if they use him as a starter. I tend to think if they get another starter, I don't. If they get another starter, I don't see, unless he's an absolute stud starter. Which, if he's a stud starter, put him in there. But if they get another starter, I don't see really the reasoning. But at the end of the day,
listen, being a long reliever in the regular season, yeah, whatever. $10 million is way too expensive. But in the postseason, that's ultra valuable. We would have loved to have him. Obviously, Brian Snitker's got to pull the trigger and pull Bryce Elder out of there. You would have loved to have somebody like Lopez go in there and give you some length to get you to maybe the 7th, 6th, 7th, 8th inning. So I think that's ultra valuable. That versatility is worth $10 million. Now, in like the regular season, like I've been saying, maybe that's too much to pay for a guy like you're saying. But in October, it should pay dividends. And, again, not our money. Who cares? And I seriously think this move has no impact. It has nothing to do with, I saw some, and I know this is not what you're saying. I saw somebody say, we went, for Aaron Nola, lost out on Aaron Nola. Now we got a long reliever for $10 million. This move has nothing to do with what Anthopoulos is doing in the starting pitcher front. I firmly believe that. I still believe he's going to go get a starting pitcher. This just gives Brian Snitker so much flexibility in October. $10 million is a lot for what he is, but in October, we'll be thanking our lucky stars if this guy comes and saves the day. Every moment is a high leverage moment in October.
That's my entire point. If you're going to use him in those high leverage moments in October, which could be the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th inning, he needs to be pitching 6th, 7th, 8th innings in the regular season. That's my point. He needs to be pitching high leverage innings at the back end of the game. If that's how you want to utilize him, that is really my point. And I completely agree with you. And I saw a lot of people being like, oh, damn, like this is our replacement. Just because there was one report that they might try him out as a starter. We don't even know. They might not even use him once as a starter the entire season. They might just think, we stretched him out basically to be a multi-inning reliever, which is really what I think they're saying. I don't think there's really that much of a hope that he's going to come in and be a permanent part of this rotation. And I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that of what they could go out and potentially get. Because look, they offered $5,162 for Aaron Nola. Now we offer $30 million, and all of a sudden we can't pay for anything else. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. What are we doing here? So yeah, and even Mark Bowman said that logical people know that that's not the case. And if you were thinking that is the case, and that doesn't mean they are going to nail one of these top guys, but it's not going to prevent them from doing it.
One doesn't have to do with the other.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Coming up after the break, it is college football rivalry weekend. We are going to break down the best college football rivalries in the sport.